this can't be it. It's too little. Maybe this was just kind of a mistake, but. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mission Flash channel. My name is Srishti, and in honor of India's Independence Day, which is right around the corner, we will be making some of my favorite family recipes. If you're interested in more, make sure you like and subscribe. To kick things off today, I thought that we would make my all-time favorite dish, which is Indian shepherd's pie. So it's your traditional British shepherd's pie with an Indian twist, and it is like hands down my favorite food of all time. This is my mom's own recipe, so I can't wait to share it with you all. We will be starting off by making the keema. So keema is the South Asian term for ground meat, and within the context of Indian cuisine, keema usually refers to mutton, which usually implies that it's goat meat, and that's what's most commonly used in South Asia as well as the Caribbean, versus like in Europe and North America, mutton usually kind of refers to lamb. One thing I want to talk about is how a rookie mistake that I noticed that a lot of people make is that whenever they're trying to recreate their favorite dishes at home, they don't usually stick to the authentic ingredients that are used within that culture. And so sometimes that can cause your food at home to kind of taste different than when you had it at the restaurant. Because India's cuisine varies by region. For example, I'm from East India, so in East and North India you tend to use a lot of mustard seed oil, whereas in South India you will use a lot of like sesame and coconut oil in the cooking, and then West India kind of tends to rely more on peanut oil. So I asked my aunt who lives in India what is kind of like a good like baseline oil or like a generic oil that you kind of will find widely available throughout the country, and she pointed out that sunflower oil is usually what is used. It can be kind of hard to find sunflower oil, so by all means you can use vegetable oil, or today we will be using canola oil. We kind of just want to like coat the bottom of the pan, and I would recommend either using a kadai, which is like an Indian version of a wok. That's probably going to be the easiest way for you to make your keema. Or right now I'm using a like shallow pot. So now that our oil has heated up, I'm just gonna add about half a spoon of sugar. And this is a trick that my grandmother used to use. The minute that the sugar starts to caramelize is when we're gonna add in the onions. It's gonna be a little bit hard to see. We're just gonna watch it very carefully. The sugar has just about caramelized into the oil. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and add our onions. And in India, we typically use red onions. And we're just gonna go ahead and cook these until they are translucent. At which point, we're gonna add our ginger and garlic paste. So now that the onions are a little bit more translucent, I am going to go ahead and add the ginger garlic paste. To the onions, I'm going to add about 2 spoonfuls. And then we're just going to kind of cook this until it's like a light brown color. And then we're just going to let that hang out for a little bit. To the onion, garlic, and ginger mixture, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tomatoes that have been diced. And you can, by all means, use canned tomatoes as well. And we're just gonna let that hang out for a couple minutes. Also, feel free to kind of like smush the tomatoes. Just kind of, you want to kind of wait for all the steam to kind of come off, and then we'll be ready to add the rest of our ingredients. Awesome. So we're almost kind of getting to that consistency that you want. Like you want it to kind of come together just to be a little bit more paste-like. So we're just gonna let this chill just a little bit. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and add our meat. So like I mentioned before, we're gonna be using goat meat. And this is really worth seeking out. You can find it at most like halal butcher shops. You can also find it at most like desi supermarkets. So like South Asian specialty stores. If you are uncomfortable with using goat meat, I would say your second best bet would be like lamb or beef. And now we're just gonna go ahead and saute the goat meat. you kind of want to add the turmeric almost instantly after you add your meats, because according to ancient Indian cooking techniques, turmeric is a antiseptic. So it will kill any potential germs. So you can also totally add carrots or peas at this point, but in my family we kind of just like to stick to like the traditional meat and potatoes. So just as kind of like a thickening agent for the goat meat, we're gonna add some finely chopped potatoes. I'm using 2 small potatoes. So to this mixture, I am also going to add some tomato paste. And I'm just eyeballing it, but we're gonna go with about like 2 serving spoons. I'm just really kind of looking for that like bright red color. Honestly, like making this keema kind of reminds me of like chili con carne. Make sure it is well coated. We are also going to add 1 tablespoon of red chili powder. If you can get a hold of red chili powder from like an Asian supermarket, I would go ahead and just use cayenne. And then we are also going to add a tablespoon of meat masala. Meat masala is very similar to garam masala, which I'm about to add as well, in the sense that most masalas usually kind of start off with cumin and coriander, and then a bunch of other spices are added to it depending on the dish. So for meat masala, it'll usually contain cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, just kind of like a combination of everything. And then garam masala, so I'm actually using my family's special blend, and garam masala is one of those things that you know, depending on whose household you go to, they use a different ratio of the spices. But again, it's like your standard cumin powder, coriander, dried coriander, fennel, cinnamon, cloves, as well as nutmeg. So now we are just gonna go ahead and stir up all these spices. So at this point, your keema mixture is pretty much done. I'm just gonna go ahead and add some water to it. So I'm gonna start off with about like a cup or 2 of water. What we're looking for is to not only braise the meat, but also make sure that these like tiny pieces of potato get fully, I want to say like disintegrated into the, because you're basically just trying to make like a thick gravy out of it. So this is a good starting point for the water. One last thing I'm going to do is add some salt. Let that hang out. Before I add some more water, I'm actually going to have my producer Maggie try some of the goat. And let me know if you're missing any more salt.
I think it's good.
So I don't want the bottom of the pan to burn. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more water. And we're just gonna let it hang out. And I'm gonna watch paint dry for 45 minutes. So I'll see you guys then. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes now. So we're just gonna check on our keema. And what I'm really looking for here is like a sloppy Joe consistency, or just like a really super thick chili. And we are definitely there. So I'm gonna have Maddie try this again. My official taste tester.
Oh my god.
It's not, because it was a little spicy when we tried it earlier, so I just had to go back and like adjust it, but
no, it's really good.
Perfect.
It's really good.
Awesome. Okay, so at this point I'm going to turn off the stove, and I'm just gonna let the keema sit while we prepare the potatoes. At this point, We're gonna go ahead and prepare the mashed potatoes for the shepherd's pie. And I know a lot of my American friends are gonna look at this and like freak out, but we're gonna be using instant mashed potatoes. And before everyone freaks out, I just wanted to talk about why. So when my mom traditionally makes shepherd's pie, she will pipe the mashed potatoes over the Keema, and so I'll link some pictures of how she does it. But I am not as artistically inclined or talented as she is, so I'm just still gonna stick with the instant mashed potatoes because it's really easy to create and top. But if your family has like a homemade mashed potato recipe, by all means go ahead and use that. But it's just a lot easier to control the like viscosity and the thickness of like instant mashed potatoes. So that's why we'll be using these, and I'll be making them accordingly. Okay, so once the butter melts, we're gonna take it off the heat and then put it into our taters. Okay, so the butter has melted at this point, and we're just gonna go ahead and slowly add it to our spuds. This can't be it. It's too little. God. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm doing a disservice to your glorious shepherd's pie. Maybe this was just kind of a mistake, but... Okay, so I think the mashed potatoes are done at this point. This is what it turned out to look like. Not completely the ideal. So it's probably as good as our mashed potato is gonna get, and I'm really sorry it wasn't smoother. I recommend using like a pie tart, and then we're gonna go ahead and start by layering our Keema on the bottom. Look at how pretty it is. Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of myself, you guys. Now we're gonna add the mashed potatoes. I'm gonna kind of just put it in the middle. Now we're gonna put it in the oven on broil until the top gets nice and crispy.
So I just took the Indian shepherd's pie out of the oven. After layering on the mashed potatoes, I popped it in the oven for about 3 to 5 minutes on broil, or at least just until the mashed potatoes develop that beautiful golden brown crust on top. And then this is what the final product should look like.
And then like there's almost like this like little like crust on top of the goat Keema. Going to the moment of truth. Oh my gosh. Having it like braise in its juices for like 45 plus minutes just really develop the flavor, and you can really like taste all of the spices from the masala. Oh my gosh. Oh, it was so good. So I highly recommend that you try this out. So use the hashtag #MissionClass or tag me on Instagram when you guys try out your Indian shepherd's pie, and I'll see you guys soon.